Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today I'm going to be reviewing Scrap Garden. Scrap Garden is developed by Flizam and published by Jelly Dog Interactive. The game is $6.99 and comes out today on Xbox. Scrap Garden is a puzzly platformer where you play as a little robot who needs to kind of save his friends, or I guess his robot kingdom, if you will. And you need to be working with going around the levels using some platforming skills and puzzle skills in order to defeat these levels and find collectibles in order to progress through. The game is pretty simple from that perspective. There's a lot of room to kind of explore, and then there's a lot of things to pick up from a collectible perspective. Mostly these little red diamonds that are on the ground that you need to pick up, or gems, I guess, really. And you need to pick those up so that you can progress through the areas as you progress through the game. And then there are some boss fights where you have to fight different types of bosses, which are kind of different each time. And basically, the thing with that is you kind of have to figure out how you need to defeat the bosses. So the game is pretty straightforward. I mean, like for something that you do actually have to kind of go look around and try to figure out what to do in some situations, it's really not that difficult. I kind of wandered around at the beginning because I was a little confused as to what was going on, but once I got used to what was happening, it was a fairly easy game to run through pretty quickly. It is actually a decent little story if you like these little type of indie games, and you're probably gonna like this one actually. It is a step up from the normal stuff that you get from Chili Dog Interactive. No cheat codes in this one, but honestly, I don't even know what the cheat codes would do if they had them. Uh, that's one thing that some people from that play the Chili Dog games for achievements like about Chili Dog, but not in this game. But again, there'd be no use for them. As you can see, a lot of things in the game are also um, you can manipulate by just walking around and touching them like robots and things and boxes. Some of the boxes will also have stuff in them, like some bonus pickups and things. So definitely just look around and try to find everything you can. Um, the achievements in this game are pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's just kind of play through the game, and there's a couple of collectibles you need. As far as I can tell, the Steam list of achievements is actually much more extensive than the list on Xbox, so they definitely dumbed down the achievement list so that it could be an easy gamer score game compared to the PC version. Um, but as such, I do think the game is actually pretty decent when it comes to the quality of the platforming and stuff like that. Everything is also pretty well done, actually, in this one. So it's a pretty decent experience. If you like a little bit of platforming along with collectibles and searching through stuff, and then also just, some silly boss fights. The boss fights are probably the worst part of the game, honestly, because a lot of times it's not real obvious what it is that you need to do. And some of the enemy hitboxes are really kind of crappy. Like, I got hit a couple times in a lot of places by enemies that kind of stink. But overall, it's alright. There's also a mini game in the game which is called Scrap Garden, where you have to play this little arcade game and get a high score in order to get an achievement. And that game is really freaking annoying because it is very terribly made. But again, there's a couple achievements tied to it. You don't have to play it if you really don't want to, but it's just like a little secondary thing. But overall, I'm gonna give this game a 6 out of 10. The reason I'm giving it a little bit of a lower score than I probably would want to, based on the quality of the game, is because of some of the glitches and stuff in the game. I had a couple of situations where I felt like I was about to get soft locked, but luckily I was able to bounce out of them. But overall, that's something that's just not good on a game like this, where you're gonna have to, progress through these levels and get all this stuff. And it seems like when you do die, sometimes it can be pretty intrusive on how much stuff you have to go backwards to redo, and so that's a little bit of an annoyance. And then the boss fights, just quite frankly, are they take away from the game. It also appears that like the first half of the game is pretty in depth when it comes to the story and things, and then like the second half of the game is kind of just like put together to hurry up and get the game over with. So it's a weird like It's like almost like they started off with a really good idea and then they just couldn't like figure out how to continue doing it. But overall, the game isn't terrible, and for the price, it's not terrible. However, it should be $5 really, but they're probably just putting the price up a little higher due to the achievement hunters that'll try to grab this game for a quick 1,000. That said, it's not the fastest 1,000. It's going to take you about 2 hours, probably, maybe a little more, a little less. But overall, it's a fairly easy game. So that's pretty much all I got for this one. If you do pick up this game, let us know what you think in the comments, and have a nice day.